explosive itong kasong ito. Masarap hawakan.
Hey, yes, that's Pelikulaya. There's so much to look forward to. Thank you very much, Chair. Hitik na hitik ang mga surprises na ating aasahan sa ating Pelikulaya LGBTQIA+, na I'm sure kagigiliwan po ng mga members and non-members of the community. So again, just a little note po, no, for the new subscribers, yung po mga hindi pa nakakapag-subscribe sa FDCP channel, para makapanood po tayo ng film screenings and events, you will need to create an account. Napakadali lang po niyan. Pumunta lamang po kayo sa www.fdcpchannel.ph. Makikita niyo po kagad doon kung paano mag-register at mag-subscribe sa FDCP channel. No? Meron po, may account yan na merong fee yan na 99 pesos. Correct me if I'm wrong, said. No? 99 pesos po. Pero yung pong mga nakapag-subscribe na po before, dahil nakasama po sila namin last year sa PPP, kailangan nyo lang po mag-login. Kailangan nyo lang po mag-login and choose among the subscription and rental plans being offered. Okay? So, again, sa mga new subscribers po, madali lang po mag-subscribe. www.fdcpchannel.ph para naman po sa mga existing subscribers na kailangan nyo lang po mag-login to access the free content, plus kung gusto nyo manood ng mga meron pong rentals and subscription rentals, doon nyo rin po ma-avail.
On that note, Dave, can we open now the floor for Q&A?
Oh yes, sige, Chair Liza, please open the virtual floor for our Q&A po.
Yes.
Ayan.
So, paano ba natin to gagawin? Maybe you can write on the chat or just, raise hands.
Chair, meron na po mga pumasok na questions,
ayun,
Chair.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay. Eto, basahin ko ho. Ang unang-una ay galing kay, from Arsenio Liao. Chair Lisa, may international films mo ba ng tampok sa Pelikulaya?
Yes, for this year, we have one, Portrait of a Lady on Fire. We were able to acquire that. That's actually, we have the license for the Portrait of Lady on Fire, and we're going to do the online premiere. Rental po siya, so parang premium VOD. So parang pay-per-click siya. So, and this is one of the acquisitions of the FDCP in partnership with Unifrance, which is the counterpart of the FDCP in France also. For films na in-exchange natin with them.
Ayun. Chair, bago tayo pala tumuloy sa ating Q&A, meron pala tayong mga special guests. I'm sorry, Chair, ha? Eto, we also have our guests from the Pelikulaya lineup. Binalad po tayo at naka-join sila out from their very busy schedules. No? So unang-una po, welcome natin ang from the Love Yourself Foundation. Please welcome Mr. Francis Dakanay. Say hello. Nandito po ba si Sir Francis? Okay, wala pa ata. Baka he'll join us a little later. Ito po, from the film I Love You, Thank You. Please welcome Mr. CJ Reyes. Say hello, CJ. CJ? Nandito pa siya?
Hello po.
Hi. Ayun. Kumusta, CJ? Good afternoon.
Sorry. Hi po. Good afternoon.
Ano bang mga kinabibisihan natin ngayon right now, CJ?
Ano naman po. Ngayon po kasi medyo na cancel po yung mga work. like mga shootings, mga events. So, transition kami into live streaming, mga virtual events.
Aha. Sige. Sige. Marami pa kaming tatanungin sa iyo, CJ. Pero for now, gusto ko rin i-welcome ka sa ating press con para sa Pelikulaya. Welcome and congratulations, no?
Yeah.
So
thank
another
you po.
guest.
It's my pleasure na ma-invite sa ganito.
Sige. I'm sure, CJ, this won't be the first. This won't be the first time na may invite ka namin.
Thank you.
Thank you, CJ. Babalikan ka namin. Another guest that we have, Chair, is Mr. Russ Ligtas from Miss Bulalakaw. Russ, are you here? Okay. Nagkaroon lang ng connection problem si Russ. We will get back to Russ Ligtas in a little while. So Chair, tutuloy po na natin ulit yung ating Q&A.
Welcome to our guests.
Welcome
All right.
po.
Let's do it. Q&A. The most important part for our press. So let's please do it.
Do you have the... Eto, may tanong dito, Chair. Sorry po sa sa tagal mo. Do you have the list ng movies that will be featured? Everybody po will be receiving the press kit a little later, and that will have the list of movies that will be featured. From Mel Navarro, take note ang billing nila Ate Guy at Ate V sa T-Bird at ako. Wala pong ibig sabihin yun, ako lang po yun. Pero talaga si Mel, ang ating kapatid na Mel, napakagaling sa mga ganyang patutsada. Anyway, eto may tanong po, Chair, from Ray Pumaloy. Ray, are you here?
Hi, Ray!
Hi, Chair! Ang ganda-ganda mo, no? Press na press. Nakapagbakasyon ng konti, hindi ba?
Oo, tapos nagbabalat yung buong katawan ko kasi sunburn.
And hello, Dave! Hi!
Hello!
So yes, go ahead, Ray, please.
Kwentuhan mo muna kami bago dun tayo pumako sa Pelikulaya. Tama. Kwentuhan mo kami nung bakasyon mo. Paano kayo nakalabas, nakaalis or something? Hindi ba mahigpit? Ano ba to? Parang spur of the moment na bigla na lang ba?
Okay. So 2 weeks ago, nagpunta kami sa Pagadian City. So Pagadian City is in Zamboanga del Sur, and they're under MGCQ. So since it's an official trip, so pag authorized person ka naman, even if you're not a resident, as long as you comply with the requirements, papayagan kayong lumipad. So honestly, this is my first time to fly to another place since the lockdown. So parang bagong-bago sa amin na pumunta sa airport. Parang ganun pala yun, no? More than a year. Parang pagdating namin doon, nagulat kami though kasi ang daming tao. So, you know, I was used to going to an airport kasi we were supposed to fly before sa Boracay, pero that day kasi yung namatay yung dad ni Ice. So hindi kami natuloy. Pero ito, pagdating namin doon, ang daming tao, and they're, you know, clear yung protocols. Kailangan naka-RT-PCR ka bago umalis at chine-check nila yon. Hindi sila nag-aalaw ngayon ng printed na, di ba pwede dati parang e-ticket tapos dire-diretso ka na lang. Of course, tinigil nila yon kasi they wanna make sure na sa counter pa lang, na-check nila na kung tama yung documents mo. Kasi pag fly mo, pagdating mo doon, tapos wala ka ring documents, hindi ka rin makakapasok doon sa pupuntahan. So, we went to Pagadian. We were, because we have a Film Philippines program, and the mayor and the whole city of Pagadian is interested to be part of this incentive para mabigyan natin ng opportunity yung city nila para makapag-attract ng mga productions. Gusto nilang matutunan kung paano nila matitrain yung mga tourism officers nila para maintindihan kung paano nila i-showcase yung ganda ng Pagadian. So, medyo sinuwerte kami, inikot nila kami doon sa sa mga tourist spots. Meron dong sandbar na nasa gitna ng dagat na kailangan mong mag-speedboat para makarating doon. Pero pagdating namin doon, it's so untouched. Napakaganda, and it's really a good reminder na you know, there is an end to this. There is an end to this pandemic, and we will enjoy that again, and we can spend time with our loved ones na ganon. So yun, napakasaya kasi kahit na ano lang kami doon, 2 days lang kami, dumating kami ng Saturday, Sunday, Monday ng umaga umuwi na rin kami. But nakakita kami ng falls, nakakita kami ng dagat. Ang ganda sa Pagadian kasi 10 minutes rice fields, 10 minutes forest, 10 minutes dagat, 10 minutes bundok. Parang napaka-blessed nila kasi hindi siya yung 4 na oras mo kailangang i-travel para makarating ka doon. So I invite everyone to check it out. It's one of the under-discovered places in our country. Hindi siya masyadong na-feature pero napakaganda po doon.
In-invite mo ba ang Pagadian to participate in your forthcoming film festivals?
Right now, ang partnership po namin sa kanila is the FDCP Film School. So, meron po tayong program para makikipag-connect sa LGU para mag-create ng basic filmmaking workshops para po sa mga estudyante at mga aspiring filmmakers from Pagadian. So, ina-arrange na po namin yan. We have a meeting with the counselor, Tyra Ko, the daughter of the mayor, para sa kanyang programs. And then, of course, the alignment with our Film Philippines office para matrain yung kanilang tourism office to have a one-stop shop also. But of course, they're invited to Pelikulaya this month as well.
Okay, let's go to Pelikulaya. Parang ang open camo, 'di ba, yung costume contest, 'di ba? Parang hindi ba naisip na baka yung mga anong tawag dito, yung mga neophytes, yung mga amateurs, baka naman masapawan ng mga dragon, 'di ba? Yung mga drag, 'di ba? Yung mga drag mga impersonators, 'di ba? Mga drag queens na magaling na bihasa na sila sa ganito. 'Di ba kayo nag-ano ng category na amateurs and professionals, mga ganyan?
Well, good question, Ray. And you know naman, FDCP is always open for that. That's a very good observation. And if we get that kind of submissions, we'll definitely expand, no? Kung paano na tayo makakapagbigay ng amateur prize versus professional prize, because ang goal natin is to get as much entries as we can. We'll revert back to the team on your question, and we'll expand kung pwede naming lagyan ng mas na categories para hindi naman unfair yung magiging anong tawag nito, judging.
Judging. Ayun. Tapos mga last 2 questions na lang. Napansin ko lang Nalihis, tapos Tiberdat Ako, at yung pelikula ni Joros Gamboa, ang sa mga parang medyo sikat yung mga artista. The rest ay puro mga underrated na matatawag na mga actors ng mga films. Hindi niya ba kinonsider like yung Born Beautiful, yung Die Beautiful, tapos meron pa mga pelikula in the 70s na about kabadingan din or something. And then meron tayong yung sikat international na Philadelphia, tapos yung Tuwong Fu, yung mga ganon. Na hindi nawawala. Okay.
Yes. There's definitely a lot of room for us to improve for the succeeding next years of Pelikulaya. And ang pinaka-challenging kasi pagdating sa pag-acquire ng mga titles, yung mga sinasabi nating blockbusters talagang did well, nasa Netflix na, which is a good thing, di ba? Okay. Which is a good thing because ang goal naman natin is for those films to be on a bigger platform. So we and for us actually in the FDCP, intentional din sa amin na ano bang gusto natin for Pelikulaya is, and for the FDCP din is, and the FDCP channel mismo is to be a platform for those titles na actually has as interesting stories, characters na nagde-depict ng mga story din ng LGBT, but not necessarily on the side of having all of those bells and whistles na attachments, no? Malaking artista, malaking company, malaking representation, kumita sa takilya, but these are important stories to be told. So that was actually the goal for Pelikulaya, because we want this to be a platform for freedom, even for those films that may not necessarily did well commercially, but napakagagandang story. I'm a big fan of Ned's project. I mean, it's one of those films na lagi ko siyang hinahanap. So we're so lucky kasi binigay sa atin nila
Sine Filipino.
Last question na lang, Chair. Ganun pa rin ba sa mga nakarang festival, yung pag nagpapalabas ka sa ganito, yung equal sharing din ba ng profit o kikitain?
Okay, so for the titles na ina-acquire ng FDCP channel, merong acquisition fee para sa lahat ng ating para sa ating mga titles na kinukuha natin. Ang goal ng FDCP channel is to be a space, and lagi ko sinasabi sa kanila, dapat Spotify tayo ng films, kasi this could be a hub. Any Filipino film na hindi mo naman, na wala sa Netflix, kasi hindi naman natin of course there's a path, a commercial path for the bigger films. But these films, more independent, mas niche, mas specific, sana makita nila yung FDCP channel as their partner. So, yun, lahat yun. And FDCP is allotting budget for these acquisitions. So, hindi tayo papayag na, hindi natin mabibigyan ng maayos na fee yung mga producers natin.
So, ibig sabihin, Chair, apalap na lang to para malinawan lang ako. Ibig sabihin nun, acquisition fee lang, wala yung parang hatian, kung ano magiging profit, kung anong kikitain ng festival. Kasi paid hindi ba? Parang, yun.
Oo.
Paid viewing.
Para siya kasing licensing deal. So, yung acquisition, like, you identify a fee, tapos, naka-retain siya sa FDCP channel, for example, 1 year. Yun, ganun yung Tapos, gagawa ang FDCP ng way para ma-promote yung pelikulang yun. And that's kind of like, yun din yung standard ng ginagawa ng Netflix. So Netflix enter into this licensing deals. It's a one-time agreement para mapuntas yung pelikula na yun sa platform nila for a specific time. Exclusive ba yan? Non-exclusive ba yan? Only in the Philippines lang ba yan? Or sa buong mundo? So nagbabago yung fees or the rates according to the extent or yung pwedeng makuhang rights. So sa FDCP, non-exclusive, mapapanood nyo pa rin siya sa ibang platforms, pwede pa rin silang maki-engage sa iba't ibang platforms para sa pelikula nila. It's only in the Philippines, kasi pwede pa rin, so ibig sabihin yung pelikula nila, pwede pa rin nilang ibenta sa ibang bansa, hindi pigilan ng FDCP yon because we support that. And then, pwede pa rin siya sa ibang streaming platforms. So, yun yung direction ng FDCP ngayon. Talagang, kung as much as possible, we want to curate, films na kung pwede lang, lahat ng mga independent films natin na hindi masyadong naipalabas sa sinehan, sana eventually makita nila yung FDCP channel as that space.
Okay, sige, yung ibang tanong ko na lang, ite-text ko na lang sa Messenger. Thank you. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Dave.
Kolektahin natin yung mga tanong na yan.
Alam ni Ray, I'm a text away.
Yes. Alam mo naman. Bago ko tawagin si Miss Melba Llanera, i-acknowledge ko lang ulit, Chair, ang ating guest sa panelist today from the Love Yourself Foundation, Mr. Francis Dacanay. Hello, Francis.
Hello po, Sir Dave. Happy Pride.
Ayun. Ang ikli.
Okay. Good afternoon po.
Francis will be here, as part of our panel, and he will be able to answer some questions also kung meron kayong katanungan.
Yes.
Kasi ang The Love Yourself Foundation po, isa sa mga organizations siya na talagang pinangangalagaan ng rights ng ating gender equality and inclusivity rights, no? So next po, can we call on Miss Melba Llanera of PEP.PH?
Hi po, hi. Good afternoon.
Hi.
Good afternoon, Sir Dave. Good afternoon, Chair.
Yes, Melba, kumusta?
Ay, kumusta po kayo? Nice to see you again. Okay. Chair, ang question ko lang, no, based po sa mga profits or mga returns ng mga LGBTQ movies natin, no, na pinalabas po ng FDCP, can you say natanggap na po ba ng buong buo ng Filipino audience ang ganitong tema ng mga pelikula?
Yes. In terms, we've gone a long way. We've come a long way since before na parang niche talaga siya. Ang makakapagpalabas lang or kikita lang ang mga LGBT films pag nakapasok siya sa isang festival. But I really do believe that Die Beautiful is one of the films that kind of like really paved the way for LGBT films to be mainstream. Talagang in a place where not even people from the non-LGBT community can appreciate, because of the messaging, the way it was framed, the way it was marketed, the festival that it was part of. Napakalaking bagay na nasa Metro Manila Film Fest yung Die Beautiful. And that led to more films. Born Beautiful was also a very brave film that followed Die Beautiful. And The Panty Sisters, the biggest blockbuster in PPP. And The Panty Sisters is like, unapologetically LGBT, showcasing a family situation that embraces, understands, or probably not understands iba't ibang karakter na may pagkilala, meron sariling perspektibo tungkol sa LGBT. So yes, I remember I went to this international film festival and I was talking to some distributors na gusto mag-acquire ng LGBT films sa atin. They always define LGBT films from the Philippines as brave. Because, wow, we're so amazed by your films. It's so brave in terms of its storytelling. And the audience that it can gather. Na mainstream siya. Kasi in other countries, LGBT films is still, hindi siya pang blockbuster. Hindi siya pang big opening date, di ba? Pero tayo, nakakarating na natin doon. Hindi lahat. Pero those wins that we have once in a while, the trajectory of ng support, malaking bagay yon to serve as a platform to discuss certain issues na hindi normally malalaman ng normal na non-LGBT person na pinag-uusapan or dapat pag-usapan. So malaki. Yes, we're getting, it's a work in progress, but there are those.
We're getting there. Okay. Miss, last question na lang po, aside from lahat naman po ng mga pelikula ngayon is LGBTQ po ang tema, what is the process or yung naging sistema po ng pagpili po? Kung paano nyo po napili yung mga pelikulang yan? Yung mga entries?
Well, definitely, yung curation and programming is anong gusto natin i-showcase? What kinds of stories? Parang, are we able to represent the different letters in the LGBT? We tried as hard as we could, but of course, again, it's a balance between availability of these titles versus the films that we want. So, but that's definitely part of our process. We wanted to showcase formats, shorts, documentaries can actually showcase LGBT stories. So yun ang naging process namin to choosing the films.
Oh, thank you so much, Sir Liza, Sir Dave. Maraming salamat po. Ingat po kayo. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Melba, kapatid na Melba. Next up, we have Cesar Batingal of Net25. Hello, Cesar. Hello.
Maybe.
Okay. Is Miss Cesar here?
Hello po.
Hi,
hello,
Cesar.
sir.
Hello po, ma'am. Hello po, Sir Lisa. Hello po to everyone po.
Kamusta?
Ayos naman po. Thank you so much po sa papatuloy po ng mga endeavors po ngayon kahit panahon po ng pandemic. Marami po ang natutuwa po at patuloy po ang FDCP sa kanila pong mga advokasya. Ngayon po, Chair Lisa, gusto ko lang pong kunan po ng insight po kayo. Doon po, di po ba ngayon we're living in a digital age po, di ba po? Pero hindi ginagamit po natin itong digital po, hindi lang po para sa mga bagong pelikula na ginagawa, kundi para din po ibalik yung mga pelikula po na noon po ay napaglipasan na po ng panahon through the restorations. Ano po yung masasabi niyo po dito, Sir Lisa?
We're really seeing a new wave of bringing back a new wave of distribution of Filipino films with this new platform. So I applaud ABS-CBN sa Pelikula and their goal to restore titles na in-enjoy sa sinehan pero idinadala sa platform na ito. So doon natin nakikita na hindi tayo nauubusan ng audience. Kahit pa gaano kalaki yung kinita ng pelikula sa sinehan, there will always be an opportunity to find new audiences or to find audiences that love those films and would want to watch it again. And I think malaking bagay is because the streaming space, the streaming platforms is creating that for us that behavior para sa atin as consumers. Na ang tinitignan natin hindi ano bang bagong pelikula ngayon. Yes, it's a thing, pero you saw how the Friends reunion was so big recently because their memory, it creates that memory, their memory of Friends being something na talagang in-enjoy nila, minahal nila, niyakap nila, hindi bago, wala aabangan nila, pero that was what they were clinging on. And nakikita natin yan ngayon sa mga lumalabas na titles na napalabas na, pinanood na, pero binabalik natin. I mean, and that's so apparent in a lot of the new films, the restored films that's being done by ABS-CBN and FDCP as well, because marami din po kaming mga nire-restore na mga pelikula. Kakatapos lang po namin ng Achay. So, finally, excited po kami para ipalabas ito because this is directed by Eddie Garcia and of course starring Nora Honor.
Apo. And kumusta po ito pong fever din ako? Ano po yung status po nito? Restored din po ba ito?
Yes. I had it was one of the films na napanood ko, I think, in UP Film Center. I remember in-invite ako na ni Sir Leo and Danny Giles. Ito films, napakaganda. At talagang doon mo makikita, syempre as an actress, anong tinitignan ko doon, yung batuhan nila nung panahon na yon, ibang-iba sa ngayon eh. Yung kung paano ini-imbibe yung mga characters, anong klase ring trend meron pagdating sa pag-embody na role. So it's going to be exciting for a lot of the Vilmanians and Noranians, for sure.
And aside from this po, itong pelikula, magkakaroon po ba, Chair Lisa, ng isa pong film fest or event na puro restored films naman po yung ipapalabas natin?
Very good. Actually, that's something that we can definitely consider. I don't know how many restored films we have na LGBT theme, but definitely maybe an international showcase with that para makita yung history kung nasan na tayo ngayon from the time that LGBT films are being discussed in the past. That's a very that can be an added section in the next years of Cinemalaya. So kukunin ko yung suggestion.
Yes.
And Chair Lisa, last na lang po. Hindi pa rin po nabubuksan ng mga cinemas, and ngayon po GCQ na po tayo, nag-stay po. Ano po yung masasabi niyo po? Ano pa po ba yung plano?
We're in touch with the cinemas kasi sinulatan namin sila for this year's PPP. And of course, dahil wait and see mode pa tayong lahat, hindi rin sila makapag-commit. And we truly understand, where they're coming from. So nandun lang kami, para maging kaakibat nila sa patuloy na pagre-represent sa exhibition sector to the IATF. Of course, we defer to the existing protocols and rules na kailangan nating sundin dahil kailangan natin maintindihan na yung COVID cases natin, kino-contain pa rin natin at ayaw nating masira itong nagagawa na ngayon para ma-contain at bumaba yung mga cases natin. So, but the FDCP, nakaantabay kami, meron kaming campaign, alam nyo naman yan, yung Nood Tayo ng Sine. Nood Tayo ng Sine is a campaign that will enjoin our public to understand how they can safely watch in the cinemas. Ilalabas natin dito yung mga nagbubukas na ng mga sinehan, and at the same time, it's a movement, it's a social campaign that would remind our audiences on the importance of a cinematic experience.
And one more thing po, dito. Yun pong sa online, kumusta po yung status? Yun pong di po ba sa mismong website po na FDCP nagpapalabas po kayo ng mga films?
Yes. Sa FDCP kasi right now, I would say na parang soft pa lang tong ginagawa namin. We're doing a lot of experimentation on how we can create support from the public. We're trying to look at price range. Maraming mga pag-aaral yung ginagawa natin para masigurado natin na sa full launch natin. So yung pinaka-launch talaga ng FDCP channel with all of its features and all is going to be in September with the Philippine Film Industry Month. So itong mga ginagawa natin ngayon, it's basically hosting a lot of these events. So in terms of revenue, wala pa tayo doon. But we have a consistent 12,000 plus subscribers, always supporting naman our initiatives. But in terms of converting every single event into paying audience, it's a work in progress. And magandang pag-aralan talaga siya dahil marami tayong local streaming platforms ngayon na malamang ganun din yung kinakaharap. Pinag-aaralan kung paano tayo makaka-capture ng audience kasi ang dami naman ngayon bigla na local streaming platforms natin, nahahati yung audiences.
Okay po. And message na lang po sa lahat po ng mga nagpapatuloy na po ulit ng mga bubble shoot tsaka mga taping po na lock-in. Ano po yung mensahe niyo po sa mga production?
I've been hearing a lot of positive updates coming from our film workers. Kung paano inaayos at sinistreamline ng ating mga production companies yung proseso nila. I just had some conversations with some filmmakers from artists na nasa mga bubble shoots, and talagang kailangan nilang mag-quarantine muna bago magpunta sa shoot na yun. So thank you po for prioritizing the safety of our workers. Yung safe filming program po namin, we're continuously breeding new safety officers na talagang magiging kaakibat nyo para ma-institute po talaga yung safety and protection sa mga production shoots. But for those naman po na medyo kailangang i-revisit, medyo nagkakaroon pa rin po tayo ng mga mga cases or nagkakaroon pa rin po ng outbreak, FDCP is here to help assist. Ano po ba yung kailangan nating i-revisit ng mga protocols para mas mabigyan po natin ng spasyo para maprotektahan po natin yung mga productions ninyo. Kasi, mahirap po talaga yung buhay. Ngayon, pag nawalan po ng trabaho ang isa during a shoot, damay po lahat, walang bayad. Tapos 14 days po, hindi sila makakakuha ng trabaho. So imagine niyo lang po kung ano pong nangyayari sa isang film worker na nagkakaroon ng ganitong aksidente sa isang production. You're looking at least a month or more no pay situation, and hindi po nila alam kung saan po sila tatakbo. So pangalagaan po natin yan.
Okay po, thank you po, Sher Liza, and the rest po ng mga members po ng FDCP, tsaka po yung kanila po mga katuwang. Maraming salamat and good luck po sa another activities. Thank you po.
Thank you po.
Thank you, Cesar. Before we call on Mr. Lars Santiago, i-acknowledge ko lang ulit, Chair, isa sa mga guests natin this afternoon, Mr. Russ Ligtas of Miss Bulalakaw. Russ, can you say hello? Hello, Russ. Russ? Okay. Baka nagkakaroon pa ng problems with... na-disconnect na ulit. Sorry, Chair. Sorry, wrong ano ulit. Okay. So at this point, let's welcome Mr. Lar Santiago for his question. Hello, Lar.
Hi, Kuya Lar. Ay, naka-mute ka po, Kuya.
Yun, thank you, David. Yan. Yung question ko, ilang movies ang kasali dito sa Pelikulaya?
Sorry. Said, ilan yung feature films natin? So we have 4 short films, but we do have how many sa total? 10 or 12? They've said.
Hello
Meron
po.
Yes.
Ayan. Bali for subscription, we have 7 po. And then under basic, we have 4. And then yung Portrait of a Lady on Fire po natin under rental isa po. And then yung free screenings po natin, Lihis and T-Bird at ako. So all in all, nasa 14 po.
Ayun. Ito ba all these movies are in exhibition or exhibition lang, walang competition?
Opo, exhibition po muna tayo for this year kasi po we're still finding we're still fine-tuning how we can expand Pelikulaya, but you can be rest assured for next year po. Marami na po kaming nakuhang interest and we're going to allot for a space for competition section.
Mm-hmm. So do you see Pelikulaya as a platform for LGBTQIA movies na yung mga hindi, kasi meron pa rin hindi naglalabas ng mga ganitong klase ng movie. So do you see this as a platform pwedeng maging entry,
Yes, Kuya Lar, definitely. That's the big vision of Pelikulaya. Kasi whenever we have a festival and it's a side section, kung medyo nalilimitahan din tayo sa mga kwentong fini-feature natin. Pero pag meron tayong ganitong klaseng festival na ang focus talaga ay LGBTQIA stories, mas maraming storya at iba't ibang mukha ng LGBTQIA+ stories ang pwede nating ma-showcase. At excited po ako doon kasi I really believe that there are so many untold stories pa po ng LGBTQ community. Sometimes a lot of our LGBTQIA members don't see themselves as represented in films yet. So ako personally po, I have a limited time in the FDCP. If there's something that I hope I can leave, sa pagpatuloy po ng FDCP sa susunod pang taon, isa po ito sa ina-aspire kong sana magiging inisyatibo ng FDCP sa pagpapatuloy na pagsuporta sa kwento po ng ating LGBT community.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Lar. Okay. All right. Before we I move on to the next question from from Mars Calo of Astig.ph. There's a question here for Francis Dakanay of TLY, Love Yourself Foundation. No? What Francis, are you there?
Yes po, sir. Sir
yes.
David. Yeah.
What film do you think best describes what the Love Yourself Foundation does for the LGBTQIA+ community here in the Philippines?
If I can think of films po, siguro first film is The Normal Heart. I'm not sure if everybody has seen it, but it's a film that really discusses the HIV picture way back in the 1980s. And another film po that I can say that describes what we do is Born Beautiful, because Love Yourself champions accepting oneself and loving or championing self-worth. And I think that the film really encapsulates that.
Okay. Well, congrats sa lahat ng ginagawa ng TLY. Matagal na po yung organization na yan at ako'y natulungan po rin yan. Salamat sa lahat ng mga initiatives ninyo. Ha? I know you're very active. Lalo na ngayon, nagkaroon ng AIDS Candlelight Memorial, di ba? Tapos, I know you always get involved with all these gameful activities all throughout the year. Thank you.
Dave,
Yes,
may I ask
Yes.
Francis, like,
Yes.
this is a government agency asking, like, a stakeholder, a direct stakeholder of the LGBT. How can we help? How can we use the Pelikulaya as a platform? How do you see this as a platform to push pa for our cause?
Thank you for that question, Ma'am Lisa. Actually, while I was listening to you earlier, I was really touched because that's one of the objectives that we've seen in the films or in the cinema, na hindi nabibigyan ng muka or hindi nabibigyan ng tamang kwento ang bawat representative ng LGBTQIA. So kung ang Pelikulaya po ang targeted to have or focus or to showcase the story of a lesbian, a gay, a bisexual, a transgender, a queer individual, malaking hakbang na po yun para sa ating community, kasi marami po ang naiisip na pag sinabing gay, ito po yung mga nasa parlor or yung mga ibang workers natin na parang sex worker. Wala naman pong masama dito, pero dapat lang din po natin malaman na ang being gay, lesbian, transgender, may iba pong story at may iba pa pong kulay na pwede pong i-showcase ng mga cinema films.
Thank you for that, Francis. It's very important to have that insight from you, and hopefully, as we do our post mortem for this, we can include our partners, so how we can work together para mas mapalawig pa natin yung Pelikulaya. So thank you for that.
Sige po. Thank you po.
Thank you, Francis Nakanay of PLY. I have a question here, Chair, for CJ. Ang ating guest na sa CJ who appeared in I Love You, Thank You. Ito ang question. How would you describe the experience? CJ, are you there? Tingnan muna natin kung makakasagot siya. Yes. CJ, how would you describe the experience of working in a film, and a BL film at that was shot in Thailand and Cambodia? Kwento mo sa amin.
Yes po. And in Vietnam.
And Vietnam pala?
Yeah.
Oh. Sige, paano yon? Kumusta yon?
Nung time po kasi na yun, hindi pa uso yung BL. Parang ang uso pa lang nun yung mga movie talaga na yung mga same-sex na love story. Pero ang ko naman po doon is parang best friend ako ni Joros doon. So si Joros talaga yung doon, saka yung Thai actor. So yung experience niya is super saya. Actually, first time ko makapunta ng Thailand. Kaya super memorable siya kasi naging paborito kong country yung Thailand. Especially Bangkok.
Okay.
yung punta.
Nagkaroon ka bang interaction sa mga ibang actors doon? Saka, kumusta yung parang kanilang LGBT community doon? Meron ka ba na-meet ng mga members? At kumusta yung mga interactions mo?
Actually, wala po kasi nag-shoot lang kami doon. Pero we never, parang wala kaming na-meet naka-interact na group ng LGBT. Pero we have mga actors na Thai na nag-cameo sa film po.
Okay, no, thank you, CJ. There might be more questions later. Thank you for joining us today.
Okay po.
Okay. We have a question here from Gorgie Rula to Chair Lisa. Para sa iyo talaga to. Dapat po bang merong LGBT representatives sa Senate, Congress, or sa legislative branch? At yung open na LGBT, kung merong open na LGBT members sila. And there's a follow-up question. Is it true that you're contemplating of running daw for the 2022 election? Thank you po. Lagi na lang.
I think right now we do have representatives in legislation that are advocating for LGBT rights. We have Representative Geraldine Roman na talagang masigasig na maisulong ang mga policies and mga legislative bills to protect the LGBT community, and actually in a bigger scope yung anti-discrimination bill natin, and then of course yung civil union. Maraming pinagdaanan itong civil union discussion na ito. Of course, even in the LGBT community, may question na bakit civil union, bakit hindi same-sex marriage. But it's important to have this kind of discourse. And I hope that we have more LGBT members of the community that will represent the stories na pinagdadaanan po natin. And it's not just sad stories, it's not just struggles, but where ano na po yung narating natin, 'di ba? I think we have to find a space for that. And the more people who can empathize with the plight, with what's going on, mas marami po tayong mabubuksan ng pag-iisip at ng paniniwala at ng perspektibo, hindi po para baguhin ang kanilang mga paniniwala, pero para mas maging bukas sa iba't ibang klaseng paninindigan at iba't ibang klaseng pananaw tungkol sa mga LGBT, tungkol sa LGBT community and us. I hope that we can normalize these conversations. I hope that we can, there will come a time na, hindi po tayo nag-aspire for equality kasi nakikilala po na pare-pareho lang tayo. So yun po, yes. And asking about I'm not running po sa 2022 election. Di ko alam po saan galing yan. I'm actually ang mas pinag-prepare ko po ngayon is in the event that matapos po yung election, and of course, I've served my time as chair of the FDCP. How can we make sure that the hard work that our team, our family, our agency has started will be continued, kasi marami naman pong magaganda at proud naman po ako sa mga nagawa po natin for the industry in the last 6 years. I'm already on my 5th year. So actually, I'm going towards that po. Alam naman po ng alam po ng FDCP, alam po ng mga kasama ko sa FDCP how we're all institutionalizing our goal to institutionalize some of the programs that we feel can really support the FDCP, and medyo nag-uumpisa pa lang po ngayon. Sana po maalagaan po siya. Ayun po.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. And thank you, Gorgie. Happy Pride. Next question, Chair, is from Mars Calo of Astig.ph. Since we are more than a year na sa pandemic and FDCP channel is doing great, meron bang challenges ahead in the preparation of Pelikulaya 2021?
Challenges, of course, it's hard. Not everybody still used to virtual meetings, engaging with different producers na merong mga pelikula. We have to find that balance dun sa oras na yun. But in terms internally, pagdating po sa team namin, Diyos ko po, gusto ko nga po magpasalamat sa aming team sa exhibition division, said Mariel and the rest of the FDCP channel team. My God, I was so humbled by their presentation. It's well presented. I mean, this is a product of collaboration among the team. So I siguro if there's something lang that I hope that we did was siguro we did this a month ago so we can generate more support. But where we are now, we're happy and we're just really looking forward because we have more and more partners na nakikiisa po sa Pelikulaya.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Chair. This is from Pep and Abante. This is interesting, Chair. Yung life and love story nyo ni Ice, so that's Director Ice Seguera, okay ba sa inyo if ever na gawing movie? And if ever, ano ang pinaka-highlight nun sa tingin ninyo?
I remember na-ask kami sa I think magpakailanman nung bago pa lang kami ni Ice. Pero at that time kasi parang hindi pa namin alam kung anong magiging impact ng mga ganong story namin. But siguro it's extracting the experience that can make for a good movie. And if there's a highlight na sana makita is yung pinagdadaanan namin ngayon bilang pamilya. Kasi hindi masyadong nakakwento kung ano ba ang meron sa isang pamilyang trans. You know, I have a trans man as a husband, I'm a wife, and we have a daughter. What's that like? What is that like? How do you actually rear a child sa ganitong klaseng sitwasyon? How can she find ano yung pinagdaanan namin bilang pamilya para yakapin niya yung pamilyang meron kami dahil unconventional siya. You know, she will come across a lot of questions from her peers about the kind of family that she has, but the journey for us to open her to a life and a perspective of having no judgment, and love has no gender. That I think is so important kasi marami po yon, hindi lang po siya maganda, hindi lang po siya, it's not a smooth sailing thing. And ang daming tanong niya when she was 4 years old. Imagine she was 4 years old when she was introduced to the family that she's going to have. Ano yung pinagdaanan niya as a 4-year-old, and with her now being out and proud of herself, and she's telling me how I should, Mom, you're cisgender female pansexual. I mean, she's defining for me kung sino ako kasi hindi ko na alam, hindi na ako updated sa ano ba yung mga nararapat na mga terminologies for identity versus orientation. So I'm so proud of her, and I think that should be the film.
Chair, follow-up to from Pilar Mateo kasi related. What letters in the LGBTQIA+ can you describe yourself and direct Ice kung meron man?
Yes.
That's from Pilar.
So kahapon, 'di ba, meron po kaming pinopromote ko lang po. Meron po kaming Pelikulaya frame sa Facebook, and our supervisor here said, Arce, created that caption na pangalan, tapos how do you identify, ano yung pronouns mo, and then of course your support message for Pelikulaya. So first time ko lang po actually inisip, like, okay, ano nga ba, kasi ang daming labels na binibigay sa akin, lesbian, ano ka, straight, ano ka, ang dami, and for me at that time, parang I don't really care about the labels. I know I love my husband. That's all I know.
That's important.
But understanding that I know how I identify. So cisgender means that you identify to the genitalia given to you. So cisgender, what you're assigned. So cisgender female, meaning pag transgender, yung opposite, di ba? Si Ice, transgender man. So I'm a cisgender female. And then orientation-wise is heterosexual ka, meaning opposite sex, yung you're attracted to. Merong bisexual, merong lesbian, may gay. And ewan ko kung first time ko itong publicly sasabihin, but I see myself as a pansexual. I don't look at genders. I love people for who they are. It's not an issue for me kung lalaki ka, babae ka, gay ka, lesbian ka. I fall in love because I love the person beyond the gender. So I am a cisgender female pansexual. And my pronouns are she, her, and hers.
Well said, Chair. And then on from Dali Ann Carvajal, Chair. If your love story with Ice will be included in Pelikulaya, what will the title be?
Ano ba? I don't know. I really want a story that features the story of my daughter and Ice. For me, mas interesting talaga siya kaysa sa story namin ni Ice, kasi story namin ni Ice, maraming ganitong klaseng pagmamahalan. I think hindi lang natin nakikita kasi mas nakikita kami sa pag-iisipan ko yan. But thank you, Miss Dolly, for that question. Parang natigalgal ako dun sa title. Unconditional love.
Balikan ka namin, Miss Dolly.
Ang galing ni Dominic, kita mo na. Unconditional love din yung naisip niya.
Totoo naman yun, Cher. Bagay na bagay sa inyo yun.
Diba? Great minds think alike. Thank you, Dominic. I also think it's unconditional love. Because we don't, that's what we have.
Walang kondisyon. Chair, from Malaya naman, G. Trilliana. The question is, and this is for all our panelists, including you, Chair, there is a call for roles of LGBTQ+ to go to actors who are members talaga of the community. Do you agree with this? So recently, Halle Berry and Scarlett Johansson have received flack for accepting these roles na hindi ko alam kung ba't hindi natuloy dito. So yun, nagkaroon daw sila na flack. So Chair, there is a call for roles, yung mga LGBT roles to go to actors who are really LGBT. What do you think of that?
Can we ask the representative from the LGBT Chamber of Commerce if he's here?
A representative from the LGBT Chamber of Commerce? Are you here?
Sino yung special?
I'm sorry, I don't have the name. Teka.
So while we're calling him, definitely po. Actually, yung ating in his, her, their shoes, that's the topic po. How are, paano po natin nire-represent yung mga karakter yung mga karakter ng storya ng LGBT? Sino po sila? So ang inask ko, and this might be a little controversial, sabi ko, can you please check yung mga pelikula sa natin, sa Pelikulaya natin, and then yung mga pelikula na nandiyan ngayon. Let's get as panelists yung mga gay, lesbian, trans man na they played that part. And actually napatigalgal po kami, nahihirapan po kami kasi parang kulang konti. Actually parang na-stump kami doon kasi you have all of these BL series, but they don't really identify as gay. They are men, cisgender male. So this needs to be discussed. There must be a discourse about this, and I also join that conversation on how we can have more representation from the LGBT playing roles na that celebrates their identity, and they're being hired and cast because that's their identity. But of course, as an actor din, andun din po tayo sa, syempre ang tinitignan po dito natin is yung galing din sa pag-arte. So yung paghahanap po ng balancing, yun yung sana mahanap po natin. Dave, meron na ba tayong representative?
Okay, well, sige. The next question after that.
No, I mean the LGBT. The LGBT.
I'm sorry, Chair.
We need to hear
wala po daw tayong representative present.
Wala ba?
From the LGBT Chamber of Commerce.
But maybe one of our special guests.
Yes, well, wala pa yata si Ras, hindi pa connected. Pero maybe Kiko can also answer the question, Chair.
Okay.
Kiko, the Kanay of TLY. The question is, what do you think about yung mga LGBT roles sa pelikula binibigay sa mga hindi binibigay sa mga taga-LGBT talaga na community actors? Kiko?
Are they here?
All right. Sige. Maybe we can get back to that a little later. Chair, there's a next question here from Maria Dolor. Si Maridol Bismarck. Hello, Miss Maridol. How about a story on how LGBTQIA plus cope with issues and challenges during the pandemic, like isolation. Isn't it harder for us? Isn't it harder for LGBTQs, QAs, community people?
Well, right now we're all experiencing our own struggles. Hindi po siya nalilimitahan sa LGBT ka or you're non-LGBT. I think all of us have our own way of going, surviving this pandemic. But if siguro kung as LGBT, ang pinaka-struggle po nila ngayon is there used to be a lot of marami pang mga hindi nasasabi ang mga member ng LGBT sa kanilang pamilya, no, pagdating sa pagkatao nila, and siguro being stuck at home. And kasi ang mga, of course, we have members from the LGBTQ na pag lumalabas sila, tsaka lang nila na-express kung sino sila. Tsaka lang sila nakakapag nagiging malaya in front of their friends, in front of their peers. And kung wala po yun, hindi sila makalabas, hindi sila makapunta sa mga events where they can just really celebrate who they are, mahirap. Because pagdating sa bahay, iba sila. Hindi nila pwedeng ipakita yung talagang pagkatao nila. And this is really hard for a lot of people from the LGBT. And I think that kind of story can be shared and can be told because it's something that's also very unique to us. That yung having to suppress your identity in front of your family because natatakot ka na itakwil or ma-judge ng magulang mo, at mas lalo mong hindi pinapakita yung pag-express mo ng identity mo at ng orientation mo kasi especially magkasama kayo sa bahay. So what is that suppression like? How does that feel to be in that space na hindi mo mailabas kung sino ka, and there are limited opportunities for you to do that. So siguro Tita Myrtle, that can be like a very good topic for a film.
Chair, may follow-up contribution si Jerry Olea para sa title ng film niya ni Direct Eyes, Pagdating ng Panahon. We finally found the film for the song.
Yes, agree.
Thank you for that.
Dumating na ang panahon.
Dumating na ang panahon. Tama, Jerry. Okay. Guys, we're still receiving questions. Kung meron na po kayo, please let us know here on the chat. Meanwhile, Chair, may mga well wishes dito for you. Ayan, from Tita Erlinda Rapadas. Chair, sana ma-extend ang term sa FDCP. You are an asset. You do a good job sa FDCP. Yan.
Thank you po. Sana din po. Marami pa po kaming kailangan gawin. So, of course, it's what I want po for the agency po. But I trust fate will show us the way.
Ay, may question pala si Tita Linda. Sino sa mga senador, at baka nasagot mo na to, Chair, sino sa mga senador at congressman na ngayon ang masasabing may suporta sa kapakanan ng LGBT community?
Ang mga kilala po kasi natin, syempre, yung parati pong nandyan, always going out there to support the cause. Senator Risa Hontiveros, of course, Representative Geraldine Roman. Actually, hindi po ako familiar sa marami pang mga legislators, but I know there are a lot who din naman po. Kasi in Congress po, actually, pumasa na po yung SOGI bill. Pagdating lang po sa Senado, tsaka po tayo medyo naantala po. Kailangan po pa natin ng mas maigting pa na pag-uusap para ma-convince po natin sila. But I know that there are marami pong signatories doon.
Okay, next up. Okay. It's another love note here from Peter Ledesma. Hi and good day, Madam Chair. You're a big asset to FDCP with your beauty and intelligence. Good luck, ma'am, to Pelikulaya. Congratulations from Peter Ledesma and Pete Ampolocchio Jr.
Thank you po.
Yeah. From Pilar Mateo, wow, my favorite. Naisip ko, para at mas maging united ang mga artista, ikaw na ang next na humawak sa Actors Guild since isa ka namang legit na actress.
However I can help the industry. I love what I do, and I have a newfound appreciation for leadership, and being a support for how we can elevate pa po our industry. So kung saan man po ako dalhin ng future in terms of participation sa mga ganitong klaseng organizations, I'm very, very open to that po.
Yan ka naman, Chair. And we all know that, no? Para sa iyo kasi kahit kanino manggaling, kahit saan manggaling yung tulong, basta nakakatulong. Yan ang importante sa iyo. So, ganda. So, from Pilar as well. Oh, did you invite Jake Cyrus to be part of the activities?
Not really, kasi hindi namin alam how to get in touch with him. Actually, pinag-usapan namin, sabi ko, paano kaya invite natin si Jake Cyrus? Pero kasi I don't have a way to reach him eh. So, but it would be nice, no, kung maano natin. Nag-back-to-back sila ni Ice in a concert before. And that was before his transition. That was before he came out as trans man. So, it would be nice to reconnect with him kasi one of the things that I know that is ongoing between me and Ice is that conversation about finding that balance between keeping your career because of the voice that you have and transitioning into being comfortable with your identity. Pati po namin pinag-uusapan ni Ice yun kasi syempre Ice has not transitioned yet. He's not taking hormones. Hindi pa po siya nakakapagpa-top surgery. And ako, for me, I'm very much in support of kung ano man po yung makakapagpasaya sa kanya. Pero syempre, identity rin niya po yung pagiging singer. Identity niya rin yung pagiging Ice Sigera. And yung even his life as Aiza Sigera, nakilala po ng lahat. So there's a possibility that that will be affected because of those choices. So for me, it's something that we always discuss. There are those considerations, but and that's why we are where we are. But I'm fully supportive of him, and with Jake making those choices, it's not easy. So I actually ask everyone also to hope we will have more understanding, have more compassion about yung mga pinagdadaanan po ng mga transgender people, into finding that path for them to be fully comfortable sa kung sino sila and celebrate that identity. So and nababasa ko po kasi, di ba, he's receiving a lot of different reactions from the community. So yun lang po, let's be kind more than trying to be self-righteous.
Thanks for that, Chair. See, Jake Cyrus is still highly respected as a singer. Saka bait po siya, na-meet ko na po siya before. So, Chair Lisa, meron isang question dito. Bakit daw, how about yung mga classic films ni Mang Dolphy na kung saan gay siya, like Nanay Kong Tatay, maybe Noni Nicasio, no? This is Noni Nicasio. Maybe is asking bakit hindi kasama to sa Pelikulaya.
Actually po, iyan po yung yung aming next na gagawin. Not necessarily in Pelikulaya, but we want to do a retrospective on Dolphy. Kasi meron po kami ngayong ni-restore na film, Dalagang Ilocana, and he's part of that. And then meron po kaming pinroduce na music, lost song na siya, Jack and Jill, na nabuhay po ulit, binuhay po ulit ni Epi Quizon singing that song. And na-excite po kami kasi I remember I had that conversation with Kuya Eric Quizon and Liz, this is supposed to be for the 100 years of Philippine cinema. Liz, paano ba tayo how can we, have something that would celebrate, ako actually nagsabi sa kanya. So hopefully magawa po namin ito, whether it is for Pelikulaya next year or as a celebration of Philippine Film Industry Month.
Thank you for that, Chair. From Glenn Sibonga of Bistado Daily Newsnet. Chair Lisa, isusuko niyo na po ba ni Direct Ice ang kagustuhan niyong magkaroon ng anak?
Hindi naman po, kaya lang po, syempre lahat po tayo ngayon may pinagdadaan ng financial constraints. So, si Ice po, more than a year na rin pong walang work. So, we're both, finding ways to maintain and sustain our life and ano po. So, when it happens, it will happen. So, ayoko na lang po magsalita. But of course, it's always in our plans po. Kaso, magpo-40 na po ako this year. So, this is my birthday month po. So, June.
Oo, June. Abangan mo natin yan. Pagdating ng panahon, yun ang sagot dyan, Chair. Pagdating ng panahon. Chair, dalaga na daw si Amara. Matatanggap mo ba na magkakaroon din siya ng karelasyon na member ng LGBTQA+? That's from Miss Julie Bonifacio.
Oh, yes. Sobra. If there's one thing that I have with my daughter, it's honesty. And it's not in my place to actually, share with everyone, how she identifies, but I think it's in her page. In her Facebook page. And I fully support that. I love my daughter because she knows who she is. She's not going to be one of those kids that will experience gender dysphoria because hindi nila alam kung paano sila how they will come to terms with their identity. I know for sure that my daughter is going to be we know that our daughter is in a place, a safe place, where she could be anything she wants to be, and she could be whoever she wants to be. And if I know my daughter's orientation, and I fully support that, and it's a normal thing for us to discuss this inside the house, and for me, it's ganun na po ang mga kabataan din ngayon, na normalize na nila yung conversation. Meron silang mga terms like fruity and all that, and I'm just so amazed by the kind of normal conversations they have about being LGBT. They actually say everybody's gay. So ganon, and she's 13, and I see her with her classmates, and she's comfortable with who she is, and she has friends who identifies as trans men, and minsan kino-correct niya pa ako, as in sasabihin niya sa akin, Mom, don't refer to Dad as with his dead name. As in, siya pa yung talagang very adamant to show respect by referring to individuals by their names, kung ano talaga yung names nila, their pronouns. And ako, kahit pa paano swerte na po yung mga kabataan ngayon kasi nandun na po tayo, no? May pagyakap sa pagkakaiba talaga ng nating lahat.
Chair, from kapatid na Leo Bukas, bakit kaya, Chair, walang lalaking legislators o senador ang very vocal to support the LGBTQ? Dahil ba mababrand din sila na gays?
you know,
Your
that's
opinion.
posible rin po kasi kasi it's
Oo,
easy
no?
for, di ba, may ganun din po tayong stereotype din kasi siguro yung ginagalawan din po nating society, may ganun din po tayong judgment for people na nag-advocate po ng particular rights of the LGBT. Parang, ganyan ka kasi bakla ka rin, di ba? So, baka isa po yun din sa reason kung bakit hindi rin po lumalawak at mas nabubuksan ang mga usapin at conversations about this. Kasi natatakot po sila malabel. Natatakot. Meron na po tayo ngayong cancel culture. Diba? So, pag nagsalita sila ng isang bagay na hindi comfortable or ayaw nyo, wala na, cancel ka na, tapos nandun na, nakatatak na habang buhay kung ano yung perception nila sa inyo. So, maybe
pero
that's
Chair,
the reason.
Pag election, Chair, ginagamit nila kami. Tayo.
Tama.
Anong masasabi natin?
Pwede po ba huwag po akong ilagay sa ganyang posisyon kasi marami po tayong nilalabi.
Oo. Kapatid na nila naman. Thank you, Chair, for that.
You know, we need more representation and ako, sana po we can unify these voices. We can collectively go out there and be loud with how many are we, di ba? Yun nga po yung sinasabi nila lagi, ang dami natin. And that's true. Di ba? Sa election, ang dami natin. So maybe that's something that we can consistently push. You know, how many we are, how much contribution we're giving to this economy, the most successful, businesses in the Philippines have LGBT members in those. And we are brilliant and we are awesome. So, diba?
We are.
Let's celebrate that.
Chair, we have 4 more questions to go now. Maybe we'll have room for one more. Pero we're down to our last few questions na. From Pilar Mateo, again, when will we see you in a gay film, Chair, in a gay role?
Please hire me after FDCP. Sana po.
Calling all directors.
After FDCP, I would love to get back into doing films and be part naman of that movement on the other side.
What is your most favorite LGBTQIA gay film daw? Sabi ni Pilar. Favorite film mo daw, Chair?
I love Portrait of a Lady on Fire. So you should watch that film. I also love the film of that stars Julianne Moore and Elliot Page. At the time, she still identifies as Ellen Page. It's a story about the struggle to get rights, and I identify so much with that because right now po talaga yun po yung dapat na pinag-uusapan ngayon. I mean, imagine if we're going to have a baby. So pinag-uusapan po natin ngayon, ito pong pagkakaroon ko po ng baby, kung papalarin po kami. It's going to be Isis egg, and I'm going to be the surrogate. But when this baby comes out, I'm going to be recognized as the mom. And ICE will have no rights over our baby because wala pa po tayong surrogacy law. And, and that's for us something that we should think about po as a society. Paano po yung mga pamilyang gustong bumuo ng normal na pamilya, and then yung anak po ni Ice to, tapos wala po siyang karapatan kasi sa atin ang perception ng pagiging ina is kung sino yung physically na nagpaluwal sa bata. So, and this is something that we're thinking, pinag-uusapan po namin to lagi, paano po namin ma-ensure yung right. So I'm actually planning, if I do get pregnant, to give birth in the US para kinikilala po kasi doon yung marriage namin. And Ice will, be the father and we will be recognized ng normal. Pero dito po sa atin, ang daming magiging komplikasyon because of the situation po. Freeheld, yes, Freeheld. Freeheld is the film. I love that film.
Freeheld.
It speaks so much about the things that are not discussed. Hindi po siya about relationship. It's not solely about relationship, but it's the struggle, to be recognized and to be given the rights that should be given to the LGBT community.
It's FREEHELD, Chair?
Yes,
Freeheld?
Freeheld. And that's
Okay.
produced by Elliot Page. She produced that film. So, yun po.
Something I'll have to look up. Chair,
Beats
so
per
last two
Minute is
questions.
also a good film. Beats per Minute is also a good film. And of course, locally, Ang Huling Chacha ni Anita and Ned's Project.
Beats per Minute, gustong-gusto ko yun, Chair. Panood ko yun. Ganda. Alright. From Beth Helena, follow-up lang po. If matuloy na gawing movie ang life ninyo ni Direct Ice, sino ang gusto nyong gumanap sa inyong dalawa? From Beth Helena of Bulgar, saksi at Ronda Online.
I would like for Ice to play himself and maybe look for another actress. Ako po magsusulat. I don't know. Dito po sa atin ngayon, siguro I can just share the actors I admire. I really admire Elijah Canlas. He's such an intuitive actor. Sa LG, ano pa ba? Sino pa ba?
Pinag-isip natin si Chair.
I know. Of course, Angeli is an amazing actress for me.
Jelly Bayani. Okay, last question na to kasi wrap up na natin. Ma'am, this is from Benny Andaya of Hero TV. Ma'am Lisa, if ever po na magbalik tayo sa normal, meaning face-to-face cinemas po, pwede bang i-request kaya sa SM Cinema at sa lahat ng mall owners na maglaan ng isang slot sa theaters or cinemas for LGBT films? Is this possible, Chair?
Yes, if we're going to renew our Cine Local partnership for the next 3 years, we will make sure that slot, at least in the 8 cinemas they gave us, we will definitely have space to always screen LGBT films.
That's very hopeful, Chair. We're waiting for that. So, at this point, mga kapatid, let's wrap this up. It's been a really good afternoon spending time with you for the launch. Opo.
May we hear a closing statement lang from our guests para lang,
yes.
we can hear their insights.
Please po, pwede po na tawagan ulit si Mr. CJ Reyes. CJ?
Are they there?
From the film I Love You, Thank You. Are you still here? Are you still there, CJ?
Wala na. Si Francis?
Okay. Can we hear from Francis, the Love Yourself Foundation? Kiko, Dakanay.
Nandiyan pa ba? Wala na.
Naka-tune out. Okay.
And we have one more ba? Or nakapasok ba sila?
Hindi na naka-connect si Russ Ligtas ng Miss Bulalakaw. I'm sorry for that. Pero sayang, sana we had time for him sana kanina. So, ayun, Chair, nahirapan daw po silang kumonect. Ay, happy birthday daw, Chair, from Mr. Mario, from Mario Dumawal.
Sir,
all your wishes
thank
come
you
true.
po. Thank you, Kuya. Sobrang lagi kang supportive. I mean, I'm learning a lot from you as well. Alam mo yan. It makes me, it inspires me to do more and always be better. Thank you po.
Thank you, Mario. Thank you for all your help. And Lar also, and everybody who's tuned in today. Ayun. So, thank you po sa ating mga naging guests kanina, sa mga nakisali po sa aming panel discussion. CJ Reyes from I Love You, Thank You. And si Ras Ligtas po, sorry hindi nakapasok, pero thank you pa rin from Miss Bulalakaw. And thank you Francis Takanay of the Love Yourself Foundation. Thank you to the team, the FDCP team who put this all together. Ayun, advance happy birthday, Chair Lisa. Ito na mga bate.
Salamat po.
So, muli, sama-sama po tayong rarampa simula June 4 hanggang June 30. That's June 4 to June 30 for the Pelikulaya LGBTQIA+ Film Festival on the FDCP channel. Register and subscribe now at www.fdcpchannel.ph. Thank you, everybody, and have a great week ahead. And happy Pride! Yay!
Yes, happy Pride Month, everyone!
Happy Pride!
Thank you so much.
Salamat po sa inyong lahat. Salamat po. Nasaan yung